What happens when Europe's ultimate defensive weapon is charged point-blank by history's greatest mobile attackers? October the 25th, 1415. Agincourt. A day proving a simple piece of curved yew wood could completely annihilate the absolute finest, most heavily armored French nobility ever assembled on a battlefield. But exactly what happens when the unstoppable English longbowman is forced to face a different nightmare? The absolute apex predator of the entire 13th century. The devastatingly mobile Mongolian horse archer warrior. Welcome back to the archive. Today we analyze the ultimate ballistic and tactical mismatch in history. Two legendary archery traditions. Two radically different physics. Only one survives this open-field tactical combat simulation. Let us carefully examine the data. You might want to reconsider your assumptions about static firepower. Consider the fearsome Mongol warrior. Born in the saddle, mastering horseback archery before learning to walk. This was clearly not just a soldier. This was a man functionally fused with his pony. Their primary tool of mass destruction was a true marvel of medieval engineering. The composite bow. Masterfully crafted from layered animal horn, wood and sinew, bound tightly together with strong animal glue, it stored massive kinetic energy in a highly compact frame, absolutely perfect for rapid horseback deployment. Using a specialized bone thumb ring, the Mongol could achieve a terrifyingly high rate of fire. Their legendary signature tactic was the Parthian shot, firing backward with lethal accuracy while riding away. Defensively, they wore light lamellar armor and tightly woven silk undershirts to safely catch penetrating arrowheads. But they possessed a critical weakness. The organic animal glue holding their composite bows together was highly susceptible to moisture. In heavy, prolonged rain, the weapon would literally fall apart. Now, contrast this with the English yeoman, a professional infantryman bound by strict royal decree. The law required them to practice archery every Sunday. Their skeletons actually deformed from training. Their weapon was the longbow, over 6 feet of solid yew wood, terrifyingly simple design. Drawing this massive monster required up to 180 pounds of physical force. It did not shoot light skirmishing arrows. It launched massive, heavy ash shafts with bodkins. These forged square iron points were specifically engineered to punch clean through heavy steel armor. But the Englishman's greatest strength was also his fatal tactical flaw. Absolute, unyielding, static positioning. To survive heavy cavalry, they hammered sharpened wooden stakes into the mud at an angle. Once those stakes were firmly planted, the longbowman could not easily move or adjust position. So, what happens when we place these two titans on a neutral, open, grassy plain? The longbow has the distinct advantage in sheer kinetic energy and heavy armor penetration power. But the composite bow offers superior initial velocity and, crucially, absolute mobility on the battlefield. The Englishman hammers his stakes into the ground, preparing a devastating defensive frontal kill zone. The Mongol approaches, carefully analyzing the static formation. He will not charge into wooden spikes. The battle begins. The yeoman heavily draws his yew bow, the massive limbs bending backward. He releases. The heavy bodkin arrow arcs through the sky with terrifying, whistling downward momentum. The Mongol sees it coming. He sharply spurs his horse, instantly altering his forward trajectory. The heavy English arrow slams into the dirt, missing the highly maneuverable cavalryman completely today. The Mongol quickly returns fire. A lighter, faster arrow snaps from his composite recurve bow. It strikes the Englishman's position, but shatters harmlessly against the thick wooden defensive stake barrier. We have a tactical stalemate. The Englishman cannot hit a fast-moving target at maximum range, and the Mongols' lighter arrows struggle to penetrate the yeoman's defences from a frontal assault. But war is rarely a fair, frontal exchange. The Mongol employs his greatest psychological weapon, the false retreat. He abruptly turns his horse and gallops away, appearing to flee combat. The Englishman, frustrated and sensing false victory, makes a fatal, undisciplined error. He steps forward. He leaves the absolute safety of his wooden stakes to get a better firing angle. Instantly, the Mongol pivots in the saddle. The deadly Parthian shot is unleashed mid-gallop now. The arrow strikes the yeoman's exposed flank, bypassing the heavy canvas padded gambeson armor entirely. The Englishman stumbles, realizing too late that he has surrendered his only real tactical advantage. He frantically tries to nock another arrow, but the Mongol is already circling like sharks. Another volley of steppe arrows rains down from an angle the Englishman cannot defend against. The static infantryman is completely overwhelmed by the sheer geometric superiority of fast, mobile cavalry. He falls into the mud, his massive longbow useless against an enemy he cannot catch. It is a brutal demonstration of why static firepower eventually loses to fluid maneuver warfare. Let us return to the archive and finalize this verdict. The historical data is clear. While the English longbow is undeniably the superior weapon for punching through heavy knight armor, battles are not won by ballistics alone. They are won by dictating the engagement terms. The English archer is a master of holding ground, demanding the enemy come to him. But the Mongol horse archer has an absolute monopoly on controlling the distance of combat. If the Englishman stays behind his stakes, the Mongol simply rides around to his flank. The yeoman cannot rotate his defensive line fast enough to track a galloping steppe horse. If the Englishman leaves his stakes, he becomes a slow, unarmored target in open fields. It is a fatal tactical paradox with no solution for the static medieval English infantryman. The longbow requires a target willing to walk directly into a storm of falling steel. The Mongol built a massive empire specifically by refusing to play by those European rules. They conquered half the known world by turning static defenses into isolated, completely irrelevant islands. The physics of the yew-bow are impressive, but cannot defeat the physics of velocity. The Mongol simply outmaneuvers, outflanks, and systematically dismantles the yeoman from a perfectly safe distance. Therefore, my verdict is decisive. The Mongolian horse archer claims absolute victory in this matchup. It is a victory of dynamic geometry over static force, a guaranteed historical mathematical certainty. The longbowman's only hope would be a torrential downpour to dissolve the Mongols' bow glue. But relying on the unpredictable weather is a desperate gamble, not a sound military strategy. The steppe warrior remains the undisputed, terrifying master of open-field ranged combat across all history. I find a certain dark irony in how the absolute terror of the French knights becomes utterly helpless when denied a target that politely charges forward in a straight line. History is rarely kind to those who stubbornly refuse to move when the world shifts. Do you believe the yeoman could have devised a counter-tactic to survive the steppe warriors? Perhaps by digging deep circular trenches instead of relying purely on forward-facing wooden defensive stakes? Or does the mobility of the horse always inevitably defeat the power of foot soldiers? Debate the ballistics and tactics in the archival records below. I will read your arguments. And submit your specific requests for the next historical confrontation you wish me to analyze. Until then, keep studying the past. The archive never closes its doors to curious minds.